Hail, hail, and welcome to the Homeboys Late Podcast. It is Thursday, the 27th of March. I'm, of course, Joe McKenna. We are back. We are like the Doobie Brothers of podcasting, long train running. And we are back with a full squad tonight for the first time in a long time. Our esteemed guest comes all the way from the tech world. Burn your saber truck. What's happening?
That's me.
That's you. That's you. Caller number one. A long time listener, first time caller.
Yes, I'm not here, folks. Just here to keep these fuckers real, as you know.
Burn your saber truck. Exactly. Keep it real. Keep it real. And of course, we are joined by the esteemed man from the Royal Borough, Mr. Liam Power.
Joseph, how you doing?
I'm all good. And we are also joined by his local regional rival, the man that's got go-karts around the corner. We'll talk about those later on. Scott McCory.
Hey, Joe, go fuck yourself.
Hey,
Go fuck yourself, Joe.
Fuck yourself, Joe. And of course, peak of the social network mountain, Jason Higgins. What's happening?
Hail, brother.
How you, dude? Are you good? So I'm glad everybody together. The gang's all here. The gang's together. It's like the Von Trapps get together in the fucking hallway, isn't it? I don't know when's the last time we were on, but it's probably a few weeks. I was going to think, like,
before the Hibs quarter-final.
Which was when?
8th of March.
Fuck me. That's nearly 3 weeks. I was going to say, like, we're the only podcast that can come on 3 weeks later and go, wait, remember that game 3 weeks ago? And we'll start talking about it. You know what I mean? And cunts will actually tune in because within 3 weeks, like, it's like everybody's fucking, like, people have seen most of the recent films in fucking 3 weeks, never even watched the game. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. We don't care. So
Hockey was having withdrawal symptoms. He was texting me last week, demanding to know why we weren't on.
Hockey was unbathed for 3 weeks, was it? Hadn't seen a sponge in 3 weeks.
The bath,
House of wreck.
The bath remained dry.
Sitting around like Mother Superior, folks. Right, there's loads to get to tonight, and there's loads of avenues of fucking consequence and fucking chat and things that be going on. We're gonna have a guest on too in the next 25 minutes to have a chat about a specific thing. Of course, later on we'll get down to Joe's weekly analysis on the future of Rio Atate, which is interesting.
Less said about that, the better.
Are you resigning straight after that, Joe?
I'm not
in the pod forever.
Do you know, like I've said many times here, Liam, my job, whether I know it or not, whether I qualify for it or not, is to raise tension.
Fucking hell.
There's no tension, Joe. You unified us for the first time this time. No tension.
Joe Trump. Anyway, there we go. So listen, we'll go back to the Hibs quarterfinal if you want, but I think we want to talk about the defeat at Celtic Park. Because I think we need to exercise this. I haven't really spoke to anybody, but it was one of them ones. I was lucky, having been at the game with my son. I say lucky as in like I had something really entertaining lined up for later on in the day. Oh, is that melancholic music?
That's a requiem music starting as we start on the game.
Good fucking episode. All right, so I mean, it was. Actually, I haven't actually really processed it that much because I wanted to forget about it so much. And it's everybody's like, let's move past it because it is what it is and we're still going on the league. But it was, I don't know. I don't even want to go first. Liam, you go first.
No, Joe, you travelled when you should go first.
I traveled like I brought my son. It was his first time bringing him to that game. And
Jinx.
I know, exactly. That's exactly what I thought whenever fucking Eggman scored. He looked at me. I was like, fucking look at me. But it was normally we'd step on London Road with Alan, but obviously because of a situation we had to get an Airbnb out by Mount Florida, and which fair play to a guy called Rohill, Airbnb, sends us a pound. And just getting to the game. I was a wee bit kind of like, this could go fucking up our own arse here. I mean, because the last time we were super confident, but then that actually made me think, well, the fact that I think that I was doing double mental gymnastics going, the fact that I think that we're not going to win means we're going to win. I mean, I was fucking double backing myself. And then I bumped into, I was in the wee Emirates Cafe, and I bumped the guy called Tom O'Donnell, who listens to the podcast, walked over to me.
Oh yeah.
He said, "Are you Joe from the Homeboys?" And I said, "No, fuck off." And I said, "I stayed on." And it was him and his son Michael that he brought over to talk to me. And we're having a wee yarn about the game and stuff. And we all kind of felt the sort of same way, going like, "Yeah, I think we can win this easily enough. We turn up." And you know, it was just like it's just a great buzz bringing my son to the game. I just love mentioning the fact that like he enjoys it so much. You know what I mean? It's such an adult experience for young kids. You know what I mean? And with kind of not even what's necessarily on the lane, but just kind of the temper of the day. You know, it's great. I met you, Liam, obviously to pick up the one ticket and stuff.
Yeah.
And I met Donna afterwards. But the first half, I mean, it was truly abominable. I was standing there going, this is only an hour's her away from like Strachanborn. I mean, it was this. It is. We always teach the kids in like under 10s football. You're the same as a Scott. Like I'd say, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, the players you're playing against are going to go, well, that's the pattern, that's the routine, and let's just work around that. Right? If they're smart enough, because football's a simple game for smart people. And the fact that we kept on repeating the same thing over and over again with literal no results when it came to like Kuhn, and then when Jara got a hold of the ball, it looked like things maybe have been heating up a bit more in terms of like chances and opportunities and getting the ball in where it was in the mix and creating danger. And then we just reverted back to a particular kind of type and pattern. And see, when you watch those things, you kind of go, like, fuck me, like, is this like, am I like, is anybody else seeing this? Am I the one seeing this? Is Brendan Rodgers seeing this? Are the players thinking to themselves, this isn't really working? Let's fucking take a chance here and make a decision. And the fact they went 2-0 up was just astounding to me. I was stunned at halftime, completely fucking stunned at halftime. And so it was like Joseph, he was like, that was crap. And I was like, you're fucking 100% right, that was crap. I mean, those goals were so easy, they were so soft. Raskin should never be winning a header in our box in any situation. I mean, and then to have basically a man free in the box that they can play the ball to, who just slayed it in, was just fucking completely like. I was watching it going, that's not really going to happen, and then it actually happens, and then you go, fuck me, that's so rudimentary when it comes to the actual ability these players have. And then the second half, putting up a better fight, you're getting 2 goals back to 2-2, and see at 2-2, you're going, do you know what? With the character of this team and the quality of this team, we will go on and win this. We will go on and win this, definitely. And the more we got into, like, I suppose, the 80, 82, 83 minutes, you're going like, yeah, pressure's mounting, it's mounting. And then, I mean, when I seen Carter Vickers miss that header coming out of this guy, right, and I may completely miss it, which is fucking, like, astounding. I was like, I can't believe he's missed that. But then you see Johnson going like, he's quick, he can cover back, everybody's going to get back, and he slips. You're like, fuck. But then the kind of microscopic levels of fucking like bad luck, where he gets back, he gets a tackle in, and he sets the ball up basically by knocking it off Egerman's leg, and he just fucking hits it laces, and you're not stopping that. But I just it was the pit of your stomach, fucking sick. And Joseph looked at me and he was like, just like, it was one of them ones, eyes closed, going, I cannot believe that happened. And I was like, mate, we're all the same. But again, then you've got those Johnson chances. That, I mean, he'd one chance, he could head off his thigh. You're fucking there, you're pulling your hair, whatever hair you've got, going, fuck. And then that very last chance at the very, very end of the game, when people were already fucking head for the exits, was just, like, I mean, it was, in a certain way, it was a matter of inches. It was a matter of fucking, chances and fucking, luck. But it was a large part of that game, I felt, was just laissez-faire attitude towards, attacking. Don't know. That's the end of me.
Fuck.
So
have I brought it down to the ground zero and we got to build it back up now, do we?
See, I can't really fucking argue with you.
I'll tell you what, I was fucking raging, right? I rarely, thank fuck I was on my own. I didn't watch it in the bar or anything because I fucking ended up getting my fuck kicked in. I can't remember being as angry in fucking years I mean, I was fucking furious. We've played them 4 times. We'll hammer them in September. We'll get through the cup final. We'll get beat at Christmas, and we'll get beat again here. In every match, their tactics were the same. Maybe with the fucking maybe leaving September out, but the cup final and Christmas time and here, their tactics were the same. Try and nick the ball off us and try and fucking hit us with 72% possession, and we lost the fucking match. Like, what the fuck? 72% possession, and seeing everything else, shots with more shots, more corners, less fouls. Like, it should have been if somebody handed you the stats and asked you to guess the score, you'd have been fucked. Like, you'd have lost your house. Do you know what I mean? It was a fucking abominable performance overall. In terms of our tactics, we've learned fuck all across the season. In fact, we're more stupid at this point of the fucking season than we were at the start of the fucking season, which again is hard to fathom. You could see what they were doing. They started under Clement. It wasn't Barry Ferguson fucking bringing in some sort of genius tactical fucking noose with Neil McCann or whoever the fuck's fucking banning crayons. Do you know what I mean? This is the way they were playing against us for the last 6 months, and we don't fuck all about it. You know, it's absolutely infuriating. And now the second half was better, obviously, than the first half. But for so many fucking players to have a stinking day was just criminal. Do you know what I mean? And it was as if we just fucking, I don't know. I don't even know if we thought if we just turned up would win. It was just as if there was no thought given to it at all. And like at the start of the fucking year, some of us wanted Nicholas Kuhn canonized, but he was doing that fucking shit again where he was running the ball from their half back into ours to the fucking nearly into the box. And I'm fucking screaming at him, where are you going?
See, at times, Marty, I think he's trying to recreate
his
Leipzig goal.
Which is
I'm kind of watching him going like, I mean, everybody's seen that. Maybe we can't keep going for the same, because he generally has 2 things he'll do. He'll get down to the byline, he'll play a chance, and then or he'll cut across the top of the box and he'll play it square, maybe make a run, or he'll try and dig it to the far post, or he'll take a shot.
Do you know what I mean? And fair enough. If he's a good enough player that could come off for him. Do you know what I mean? I'm not
diversify for fuck's sake.
It was just that real fucking, as if they were afraid. Do you know what I mean? It was as if the Huns were just putting it up to them and they were afraid. And like we weren't drawing fouls. And we should have been. We should have been going down at every fucking step and getting the crowd's hackles up. Do you know what I mean? And saying, well, we'll play in your half. We're happy enough. If you want to boot the fuck out of us, that's fine, but we're going to do it all in your half. Do you know what I mean? And then that stops that shit. Or players are on yellow cards and then they're starting to shake themselves. There was just none of that. Like, you were just waiting on some sort of fucking sense breaking out. And right to the fucking end, it didn't. Do you know what I mean? You're like,
there was a stage in the game, Marty. I would have took a fucking red card just to get through one of the cunts and let them know we were there.
And that's, Jason, and that actually could have worked in our favour. I know it sounds
it was fucking passive. And see the fact that you say we looked as if we were shite ourselves. We did. We're fucking 16 points clearing them in the league. It should have been like a pre-season friendly for us, no giving a fuck.
100%. And that's my point about the stats. Jason, see if somebody had a hand you to the game stats, you'd have went, fuck, that was a pre-season friendly. Fuck me.
See if you look at nearly all the big games they've played well in and won this season, they've had less possession. That's when they're at their best. See, no having the ball and fucking doing breakaways and stuff like that. So we know that. So that's the game that they play.
We could have sat in and just let them play, just handed them the ball, but it's like, I think I said it on here previously, sometimes it's like do plan A better, and that's just not going to fly.
That's when Brendan Rodgers is going to take the flak.
Yeah, 100%.
When they're at their most dangerous, and we played into their hands, and plus we were shaky at the back. I think a big part of it wasn't Navarro, it was Carter Vickers, and obviously Alistair Johnson was off it. And to be fair, Casper Schmeichel wasn't great either. So it was a fucking perfect storm for them. We were edgy at the back, and they were fucking getting about us. And
I still think, Jason, too, I don't think Carter Vickers is fit. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. He just does not look right. You know what I mean? Whatever that issue he has with his feet is clearly not cleared up or hasn't settled or whatever the fuck. Or, you know, that's my opinion. Like, I'm looking at him going, you know, it's almost as if he's questioning himself or he's afraid to let himself go in the tackles and stuff like that at sometimes, or afraid maybe even to break into a fucking sprint when he needs to. And it's just like, you're just waiting on something fucking happening. And like, he's just, this has been one, as we said it here a couple of weeks ago, or certainly I said it, this has been one of our best seasons ever. Like, we've had a fucking tremendous season. Really have. And the team have done us proud. But when you see that repeatedly fucking making the same mistakes again and again over the course of a number of games, it's infuriating. Because surely the fuck, if I'm fucking a dough ball and I can see it, then somebody who's getting paid to notice must be seeing it too.
But in these games, you win or lose them with your midfield, right? And a massive loss was Callum McGregor, right? But questions have got to be asked. Engels wasn't even at the races, right? And Luke McCowan took a bit of flack, but I thought Luke McCowan wasn't bad, and he was getting stuck in and he was trying his fucking heart out. And I thought Atati was actually all right. I thought Atati was our best midfielder. Obviously, he gets the goal. And he's unlucky. The first half, it's a worldly for Buckland. And he's had a couple of chances. He's been unlucky with shots. But Nicholas Kuhn, to Joe's point, everything we were trying to do in that first half was doing that right wing, and he just didn't look interested. Jota got the ball twice, I think, and looked as if he was going to do a bit of damage. He looked as if he was fucking on form. But nothing went down the left. Everything was going down the right. And Alistair Johnson had a fucking nightmare, and Kuhn had a nightmare. And they were still persistent putting everything down the right. And you're saying, for fuck's sake. And they had to change it up a bit. And Maeda was kind of ineffective. You know, he was making runs, but nothing was really happening. And Engels was fucking just as if he wasn't even on the park. So, aye. But saying that, with fucking more than enough chances to win the game. And I don't buy into the fact that they were by far the better team. What the fuck? They had fucking 4 chances. They scored with 3 of them. Well, 5 maybe. And obviously the one, Casper Schmeichel, put the ball out to Czerny, and fuck knows what he was thinking about running wide when he's got an empty net.
Well, Joseph asked me that. He goes, why didn't he just shoot? I was like, because fucking that's razors.
But we had more than enough chances to win the game. I don't buy into the fact that they were fucking this all-conquering team. We were fucking rank rotten. And I think we still deserved a draw at the game, you know. So I don't see this or this fucking whooping and hauling for they cunts that they were outstanding. Were they? Fuck. But they've got a game plan against us, and it's fucking working now. And Rodgers has got to fucking dramatically change the way we play against them.
There was a couple of moments in the second half, Jason, right, where but I wouldn't say we played the long ball. We didn't play the Jack Charlton long ball. We played the long ball from Casper Schmeichel and adding on to the end of it. And it kind of got us a couple of, not necessarily chances, but it made it difficult for them because they were out in their feet to a certain degree around about 77 minutes. I mean, and fucking, I think it happened twice in the second half. And then I went back to short passing at the back, short side to side.
Well, see, be fair, we should have been doing that in the first half, Joe, because the second half we were by far the better team. And I was, when it went 2-1, I was 100% convinced we were getting an equaliser minimum. And then when that went in, you're like, I hope we're going to be home in post here. They're fucking dead in their feet. And just, it was the perfect storm for them to get that goal. But to me, it's on Rodgers. I mean, we can blame McGregor not playing and it's a gloss. And that's right. But fucking hell, you've got enough players there that are good enough to beat them. I mean, fucking, could you have subbed Alistair Johnson? I mean, I would have, because he was terrible. You know, he's been outstanding for us this season, and the boy's been a class act for us. But it was just absolutely awful. And you've got to earn your place in the merit of how you're playing that day. And if you're absolutely having an absolute stinker, you know, and just fucking, and Kuhn was terrible. So what do you do there? You know,
also a wanker to the kids outside after the game.
Oh, Joe, you haven't fucked up about that. Fuck me.
I could care less about that, to be fair, but I get your point.
If a kid chases you down the road after your car, fucking pull over, you cunt.
Maybe he was ashamed of himself, Joseph.
You know what? Redeem yourself then.
Aye, so just absolute fucking sickener. I mean, at the end of the day, fair play to them for beating us, right? And as Marty says, the last 3 games against us, they've been equal, if no. I mean, obviously the one at Ibrox, they were by far better than us. That one there, people were saying that was worse than the one at Ibrox. Was it? Fuck, the one at Ibrox was fucking well, that was brutal. But that one there, we should have got something out of the game, and just too many players know at it. But getting back to the tactics, you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it worked for them because it plays into the way they can play, and they can get fucking a result out of it. They know having much of the ball and fucking stealing and going for it. So, aye, bastards.
That's what they are, Jabo. Bastards. Absolute bastards. And it's a gutter too to be doing it. I always mention this too at the International Week. It's a fucking continent.
Oh, that was a fucking terror. I had to turn everything football for fucking 2 weeks. Fucking watching, listening to crime fucking things and the swag, fucking reading up about the colonial history of Papua New Guinea and fucking
That's it. Every paper gets burnt. You know what I mean? They're like, get that away from me. But
Logging into that podcast, thing you should know. Fucking what? Earth first, what?
Fucking listen to that. Know that fucking them hardcore histories that last about 4 hours on fucking podcast.
How do wind turbines work? That's amazing.
The deepest trench in the Pacific Ocean. Fucking blow your mind. Carry on.
But I swear to God, like I genuinely cannot remember when I was so fucking angry. I was raging. I was Hun Lake rage. So it was because I was just like, fucking hell,
how you would have loved it as well, Marty, that the fucking Ox were back in the stadium. For fuck's sake. That was just fucking awful, man.
We're coming up on a discussion of who was and wasn't in the stadium.
Aye.
Liam, Scott, you still have to do like rapid to figure out who goes first.
I'll give it a couple of minutes and get Scott on, but you've covered most of it, to be fair, and it's one of them kind of like Marty, you're fucking furious. Do you know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck's happened there? And then you try and a few days later try and take a step back and say, Scott flashed up a comment on the screen earlier where someone said, you know, we need to have a different game plan in Europe and against when we play these. And then you step back and say, well, we're on the verge of a treble. We've had our best season in Europe for a long, long time, playing that sort of way. So like, it's probably the truth's probably in the middle somewhere, like it always is, really. So, you know, I think Rodgers is quite insistent. You know, we're just going to keep playing our way, but play it better. And, you know, I'd still say every time we play them, if we turn up and play our football our way, then we'll win more or less every single time. But, you know, at that level, you've got to earn the right to play your football and to play the way you want to play the game. And it just baffles me why a team as good as we are can perform so badly, especially on the back of being smashed about at Ibrox, you know, earlier in the season. So you thought, with nothing else to play for, potentially that would be on the line for all of them to go in there and prove a few things wrong. And I don't know if it's psychological in terms of everything's won, or not everything's won, but, you know, the league's won, we're so far ahead, blah, 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 whether the players just switch off. It's a lack of, you know, lack of drive and motivation, just subconsciously. You know, we can talk about McGregor, but we shouldn't be so reliant on one player, you know, and I don't think it's just the system we play. I think it's the way McGregor plays that system for us that's such a big influence on how we play. So I don't think it's just a case of putting another good footballer in there to try and do the same sort of thing. I think McGregor's got such a good brain and such experience that he just, you know, he dominates that game and he makes it tick the whole way over. But we shouldn't be so reliant on a single player, you know, not being there. Rodgers has got to take a lot of criticism not changing things up. Really, I mean, the second half, right? You know, we switched. We made one substitution, then Maeda scores from moving position. So you could argue that he's done the job there. But just I don't know, just sat on his hands for that whole first half. I'd have been doing something after 20 or 30 minutes there. We looked so bad and so passive. But you know, he probably picked the team that everybody was expecting us to see. You know, Ida's probably the only question, really, wasn't he, in terms of whether he plays or not. A few defenders out and stuff, but that shouldn't really be having such a big impact on us. Schlupp, who's looked amazing, looked completely like a player who's not played much football for 12 months. Looked pretty lost, you know, in most of the game. We did kind of caveat his excellent performances with the fact that he does wander around the pitch a little bit, which is maybe what he's asked to do, but he just looked quite lost. And it's just one of them weird games where you could tell from the first couple of minutes that it just felt like it wasn't going to go well. And everyone's obviously liking it to when we played at Ibrox and Neil Lennon kicked the ball up to Neil Lennon's team kicked the ball straight from the kickoff into the corner flag, you know, pressed the game and ended up winning that game with that specific tactic. It just felt like that they were right on the front foot and pushing us back where we didn't want to be, and we didn't really seem to get out of it. The thing, Jason, I think you mentioned it there, but the thing that was really annoying me was in that they went 1-1. They went 1-on-1 against us. We've got better players all over the pitch against them. So when Jota's getting the ball on the few occasions he's got it, why can't he just turn around and face his player and beat him? Now, why is it got to be a break of a line or a three-way pass to get round? Why can't the player just turn around and take a player on and beat them? And as soon as you beat one, but especially when your passing game's not working like that, why not just Jota was up against Sterling, and Jota was where I was sat in that first half. He did so well to win that long ball that he took on his chest, and he kind of beat him physically and pace-wise to kind of get in and get a shot away or a cross away. But, you know, Jota could stand up and beat his player every single time. That's what we want him to do. And that was the bit that was really frustrating for me. None of the midfielders were willing to take the ball and try and beat a man. You don't want Ingles doing that where he is, but certainly further forward, you need players doing that. And it's all very well having Maeda up top in such good form, but we could have had Mbappe up there and it would have made zero difference in that first half because we don't get the ball in that place to them.
The point was Jota was doing it, so get the ball to him more often. The amount of times the ball went to Kuhn was fucking criminal, because the thing is, it's with the central midfielder or the central defender, and they were always going right when they could have went left just as easily. You know, and it was fucking... Kuhn must have had, maybe 10 chances, like, at doing something and done nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe 10's maybe a bit overblown it, but a lot more than the 2 or 3 that Jota had. Yeah. Jota looked like he was up for it and couldn't just fuck. Aye.
Exactly that, man. That's what I'm saying. Just some of them times where we couldn't pass it out, just tell Jota to just control it and turn and take them on. But the thing that infuriated me more than anything the whole day was the fact that the Huns absolutely ripped the piss out of us on that park.
Yep.
Absolute. The fucking passing the ball around, like throwing it to each other like netball.
Yep.
Why did one player not just go up and fucking shoulder barge one of them, flat in the back and knock them down? Yeah, yellow card. There's not going to be a yellow card in that situation. The referee was appalling, but you knew he was going to be that way, and that's what he was going to do. But not one of our players even said a fucking dicky bird to them, which fucking disgusts me. That does.
And see the point that they were doing, all the antics they were up to, the time wasting and everything like that. Fair fucks to them. Do you know that's what they're there?
Of course, yeah.
It's entirely their prerogative to do that. So you just I know, and I've got no complaints about the way they played the game, because I would want a Celtic team to do similar in the opposite way.
And even all the celebrations and all the stuff with the water, whatever, right? It's not on. You can't do that. But fuck, you know what do you expect? They've had it shoved up them for so long now. You know what else are you going to expect them to be doing there? And you know what, Ferguson will be getting them. He'll be getting them going before the game, and so I've got no major issue with all that kind of stuff, to be honest with you. But I just thought we looked fucking soulless and heartless through the game. You can't throw everything away on the back of one game there. But it's 3 times, you know, we've arguably been outplayed by them. Definitely once, if not twice, or 3 times. But then you look at the last few games. You know, we conceded 3 there. clean sheet against Hibs, 2 against St Mirren the week before, 1 against Aberdeen, 2 away to Hibs. So, you know, we've been a bit fucking flaky defensively as well. And I think it was Marty made the point about Carter Vickers. See if there's anything wrong with Carter Vickers, just send him away to do whatever he needs to do. Do you know what I mean? Let him go and get fit for the start of next season, where he's far more important to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The problem is Scales is injured too. And that's
Doesn't matter, Marty. Just, you know, I'm not being flippant or like disrespectful to the other teams, but fucking Navrocki had a good game. Trust his back, I think. Even if you were playing Johnson in there and bringing Ralston in for some of these games, it's not an issue till the final.
I totally agree. I'd actually bring your wee Monty and Murray and let him fucking play.
Yeah.
Aye.
Exactly.
Aye.
There's no fitting. Rogers has said previously that it's a rest issue. This sort of thing can't actually be fixed. You can't surgify it. You can't fucking put fucking injections in it. He just needs rest.
Yeah, he's not a rechargeable battery, for fuck's sake. I mean, you can't just plug him in and go, right, well, let's go again, big lad. Another flashlight. I mean, it's fucking. It's evident. It's evident the guy's struggling. If you've seen him walk out of Celtic Park, like, I mean, he wasn't limping like a Hatate. He was not Hatate, fucking Almeida was limping, or fucking Yang was limping, but like, you can tell he's late.
Yeah, but you could give him the month off. You could give him April off, and then bring him back in May and train him up towards the final. If he's, you know, if rest is what it needs, you know.
But I mean, if he's one of those guys that goes, I'm playing, fuck it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough, right? That's fair enough. But he's not.
Sure, he is.
You know, he's not right, is he? And you know, you've got to make some bigger decisions. Sometimes we're in a really luxurious position just now, aren't we? In terms of you know where we are in the season, the games that we've got, really. So you can't do it now. And what we've shown is we've been waxing lyrical about this squad all season, but it hasn't taken many players to be peeled away, has it, to kind of show the weaknesses?
You go from concrete to tinfoil pretty quick, don't you?
Yeah, but again, like if Naroki comes out the team now and disappears again, you're like, what the fuck is that all about? You know, you got to give that.
I thought Naroki looked decent. I mean, it wasn't
brilliant.
No, he wasn't brilliant. Right, we lost the game, but I thought physicality ways. Yeah. I thought he brought something that was much needed.
Yeah, and listen, I'm gutted about Schmeichel. Obviously, been fucking banging his drum all season, but I'm pretty excited for Sinasola now about getting an opportunity because we need to see what this boy's about as well. So,
do you know what? He's got a name that fits into a song really, really easy.
The guitars coming.
Sinasola. I'm just saying. As a person that analyzes these things.
Joe, don't say for fuck's sake. Just do it.
Joe, you've started the pod really well, really positive. We're off kind of we'll get to the attack.
Now we've got a loose wheel. We've got a loose wheel already.
Right, Joe, before you scare Scott back off again, let's give Scott his time. I'm looking forward to this.
You're looking forward to my voice. Fuck's sake, man.
Absolutely.
Well, what else can I really add, right? Nothing really, man. It's just, I don't know. You take a kind of, you've kind of got to look at the whole season. Now, I see people demanding hard-working midfielders, and I see Engels getting a lot of grief. I think his position was. I mean, we signed Engels ultimately to improve us in Europe, and the aim of him is to be that guy who take the standard up in terms of ball retention and stuff like that. We didn't really buy him to win his games against the Hunters, right? We go him to, and I see, and there's no doubt the game past goes by. Anybody that says otherwise is just telling lies. Jason, you opened up by saying you lose a game in midfield. I totally agree with that. But on the back of that, you then said that you thought McCowan and Hatate had decent games. So I don't necessarily agree with that. I think they ended up looking better, but first half alongside the defence, they were pretty damn poor, to be honest, all three of them.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
I think the Narovsky thing is interesting because as well as he did defensively, you know that our defenders are more than defenders, They've got to be given us more. And I don't actually blame him for this because I think the boy done well in terms of defensive. But see, because we've froze him out, he basically, in my opinion, and I've watched a couple of things that I agreed with my point, and I was happy to hear them. That see, when you leave somebody this long, they're going to come in and they're going to do the basics.
Yeah,
they're not going to come in and try anything. They're going to come in and just say, I just need to get through this game because they're not going to walk in with the cockiness of a trustee who's going to try and ping the ball over and stuff like that. So see, to be honest, Narovsky, whilst defensively, he was all right for a team that lost 3 goals. In terms of going forward, he was a man down.
It's a very good point because guys like even Scales as well is known to ping a ball.
Yeah.
You know,
so he wasn't giving us,
right.
and like I say, I don't necessarily blame him for it because I would be the same if you bring a young guy into the team. Their aim is to get through the game, unless they're like prime top. So I mean, I think we kind of get bit in the arse because of how we've treated Narovsky all season. Because let's be honest about it, aside from pace, has Narovsky ever done anything in his whole time at Celtic that went, that guy's fucking hopeless? No, I don't think he has. Now, I'm here to be proven wrong, but
I think he's not a bad player, by the way. I just don't think he's been given a chance. He's been unlucky with injuries as well.
It's a mad the injury thing's a good point, Jason. As you rightly said, the fact we kept going down the right was infuriating. Was absolutely infuriating. Nicholas Kuhn, you don't want to call him a one-trick pony because you've seen so much, but there needed to be something different. Kalmack missing was big, of course it's big, and I dare say he would have had a lot more determination in him, especially after the way we played at Ibrox. But I think it was that performance was beyond McGregor, to be honest. I don't know. In the cold light of day, when you sit down and you look at it, you go, how many teams have practically got the league in the title and the kind of the fit comes off the pedal? Had we still been in competing in Europe, maybe it would have been different. They had a lot more to play for. They had a lot more to prove. I think Rodgers, I don't know about you guys, right? I kind of wanted something different. However, I believe we're a better team than Rangers. I believe we should be a better team than Rangers. And I think there was a bit of arrogance to suggest, right, just go out and prove it to everybody. And it never happened again because Rangers have set up to, they put the high press on us. We struggled to get out and we refused point blank to go direct when you think turning the guys could do something. I mean, I don't think there's nothing bad about going direct. I really don't. But Brendan Rodgers...
100% no.
Brendan Rodgers wants to do this way. And it definitely comes in the manager, Jason. And I don't think we're in the wrong for saying that because he takes the credit for when it goes right. We're all lauding him for the Bayern Munich stuff. So when we get beat out of Rangers because of the way we're set up, then really it falls on him.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Particularly in that second half when Eder's on, you should be, there's 3 centre halves. Eder should be pulling to one of them, left or right. You should be firing the ball down that channel. And if he wins that challenge, you've got Eder behind him or Jota or whoever. You've got
but again, you're saying that in the second half. We're only saying that because we lost. Because the fact of the matter is we came out in the second half and we played our game and we really, really should have won that game without being good. But,
I thought we played in patches in the second half as well.
No, that's fair dues. But see if you actually go and watch the highlights of the game. See the first half, as you rightly said, they're 1-0 up, through. They've had a shot from nowhere that Schmeichel could have done better with, but what he does right, he pushes it around the post. They score a header, the wee guy in the pitch, scandalous, right? And then Schmeichel's made an arse of it. How Czerny's no scored, God knows. And I think they've had a couple other chances. Everything else we've done, Butland's pulled it. And during the game, Butland's pulled off 3 good saves. I wouldn't expect him to concede, but he could have. You've got the Norowski header as well. You've got loads of chances in the game. Whilst I didn't think we were great at any point of the game, I still, as Jason says, seeing we got the goal so early, you're going, well, here we go. And then as soon as you get the second, you're thinking, it's in the bag, here we go. And it takes a fucking god-awful mistake. Because see if you go back, I mean, I'm glad I can do it now, but if you go back and look at Alistair Johnson's 4, it's fucking comical, man. I've literally no clue what has happened there because both his feet come off the deck and he lands in his back. How's that happening? And then, as Joe says, they've got that wee bit of luck. We've gave them the impetus. We don't want to give them the horse and cart, but we've gave them the impetus. But the fact of the matter is, we've got 4 games, and 4 games, and then you're in a cup final playing for a treble. See, the thing is about changing the system. It's funny because for years we've often talked about how we had to change the system to be more European, more defensive. And now Brendan Rodgers has got our style of play to a point because see Engels isn't going to against Bayern Munich. You're trying your best not to make tackles, to trying your best because Liam, I asked you. I was watching before we played Aston Villa. I watched Aston Villa versus West Ham, and I said to you, "Is that really the usual refereeing in England?" Because it was very lax, whereas in Europe, no matter the first tackle, we've seen it ourselves. We've been punished ourselves. The first tackle, boom, you're booked, and you're under pressure, or you're sent off for a reckless one. Stuff like so. We've flipped ourselves. Because the game we've been playing in Europe this year generally is working because we're putting pressure on the ball. We're not making big challenges. We're not making big, crazy Scottish football challenges. And it's actually came back and bit us in the arse when it comes to the Huns. The Huns have went back to... And it's a mad thing, isn't it? When we're... Because Celtic fans, like every fan, we're hypercritical at everything. Everything goes wrong. I'm pretty relaxed where we are. Yeah, to be honest.
That's what I was saying earlier, Scott. I mean, people are crying out by a big central midfielder who can win the ball, blah blah blah. But that's fine for 2 or 3 games, but we just don't play that way. You know what I mean? And we've let our football get us our success this season. So we do need physicality through the team, definitely. But I don't think it's as simple as just saying get one big lump in there and that will change what's going to happen for us.
Yeah. I mean, it really does. The problem against the Huns almost does come back to the same problem we had against Bayern Munich in terms of the bench was a bit too weak.
Yeah.
Trusty comes out of the team, and who else was missing? So McGregor, obviously, and Scales. So you're missing the guys, but then it comes basically doing as Kuhn is out of form, and we really could be dealing with a guy who's at his level, maybe a wee bit under his level, to come on and replace you that and give you something else. And Yang, whilst he has heights, you're still not at the point you can really trust Yang. I mean, if James Forrest was fit and ready to rock, I would have been wanting, even though I didn't think Yang was particularly poor or something. It's just, and also the Ida thing. He does prove to me how good a player is. It's just now up to him to get that consistency, go and take a jersey and make himself who he should be. Hopefully that happens with us. It might not happen with us, but it's really up to him now at this stage. He's been given the ammunition. And as you say, I think we've kind of got to work out what we want for Ida. because of the size of him, a lot of people just expect him to be John Hartson. Whereas I don't think he's anywhere near that type of striker. I don't think he's a lead the line striker at all. But it might come. But no, like you guys, pissed off. I was raging way at the end. I thought there was a whole load of people going off the diving board that we should have lost the cup final. There was one I got flung in my face, and I was like, "Oh, give me peace." I thought if Celtic had won that game, we'd have wiped our brow. I think a draw was probably the fair result on the day, personally. But is what it is.
Is perfect response. I think that all that entire game. One of the things I pointed out to my son walking into the game was like, let's see what the Green Brigade have. And I looked over and it was empty. And I was like, must be a delay in the traffic or something like that there. So we're moving into that conversation right now. And we want to invite a man onto the podcast. Martin, you there?
I'm here. How you doing?
Hey, everybody, good. Listen, you and Jason are going to kind of have this conversation, I suppose, because you are closely connected in terms of the subject. So, Jabo, you there?
Aye. So, welcome, Martin, a good pal of mine, Martin, for the Green Brigade's come on to give a wee, because obviously it's a very important subject what we're going to discuss about now. And the reason we didn't bring Martin in the Rangers game was because he obviously didn't fucking watch it. So there was no point bringing him in. So what we're going to do now is discuss the disgraceful treatment the Celtic fans prior to the game on London Road and the way up to the game, which I witnessed myself. And obviously there's an important demonstration before the game against Hearts on Saturday, which I'd urge everybody to attend if you're going to be in early enough. So I'll introduce Martin. I'll get Martin to give, for anyone that doesn't know, the Green Brigade, and I don't even know if it was all the Green Brigade, or it was others that were just standing about at the time. They were kettled in the middle of London Road in the lead up to the Glasgow Derby, and London Road was at a standstill for a few hours, and they were in the middle of the road, and our bus got stopped, and I walked up by them, and it was just an absolute disgrace the way they were treated by hundreds upon hundreds of police. And obviously, if you're online and whatever, you maybe read loads of stuff about it, but people listening to this maybe don't know what happened. So we'll give a first-hand account from my good pal Martin. If you want to just give a wee rundown of kind of what happened, mate.
Well, thanks for the intro and for having us. Unfortunately, just to correct you in one point, I did see most of the game live on a shitey stream, which was just a fella putting the balls to a fucking shite day. So we were aware of what was going on in the game and all that, albeit we were behind in that. But we'd arranged to meet, as we very regularly do, at the social club in London Road. I'd arrived, I think, the back of 10. Our plan was to sort of meet there and distribute tickets and all that sort of stuff that you do, and leave about 11:15. So we got there, I think I got there back at 10. And I noticed right away, fucking hell, like, policy is crazy. I mean, when I say crazy, I mean, like, I think somebody counted 23 vans, 23 Polish vans lined along London Road outside the social club. My initial instinct, I think most people's initial instinct, was this was like a sort of show of strength. They'd also been in the news in the run up to it regarding the Section 60 stuff and all that sort of stuff. So we were a bit taken aback, but we weren't thinking this was going to kick off or anything like that. Like I said, we were meeting at a place which is probably the least controversial or least likely place to cause any trouble whatsoever. We're like 5-10 minutes walk for the stadium. We're behind in our end. It's where everybody expects us to be. So it was all pretty peaceful on our part. So we'd kind of gathered about, and there was just a feeling that they were wanting something to kick off. And then we'd heard through the guy that runs the social club, who came up to me at the fair to him, and he'd heard through one of the coppers. He's like, look, they're choking to kick off here, blah, blah, blah. And again, our assumption was, right, thanks for the heads up, we need to be wary, but we're not intending on causing any bother here. There's no pyro or anything like that, so we're not letting it naff. So there's nothing going on. Our intention was to walk to the game quietly, get into the game and do our thing. So we weren't overly concerned as much as we passed that message on. We all gathered onto London Road, I think about 11, quarter to 11, with the idea being at the stadium for about 11 o'clock. And we made a point, got one of the boys with the big voices to shout to everybody, look, because bear in mind, it wasn't just all Green Brigade people, there was other people there just wanted to walk with us and all that. But one of the boys shouted, look, we can see the presence that's here, they're choking to kick off. So everybody toed the line, everybody keep your wits about you, don't give them a reason to kick off. So the message was loud and clear for us that we didn't want any sort of bother with them at all. And as we made our way onto London Road, they just very quickly sort of kettled us, quite a loose kettle, wasn't like a typical sort of aggressive, they never moved in aggressively like that, it was what I would describe as quite a loose kettle. So sort of surrounded us and it was kind of, wait here, the now. So we teared through people at Celtic Park who were already there that the whole Hunt support wasn't in yet. There was delays in getting them in. So we had just assumed that, and actually I think one of the coppers said, we're waiting on the full Rangers away end to get in and then you can go on your way.
Right.
So really that was a bit of a pain in the arse, but right, fine. So we sort of stood there 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes. Nothing, and I've got to say, everybody who was surrounded was absolutely brilliant. There was hardly a peep, they're dead calm, there was nobody rising to this sort of attack, nothing like that. And eventually, must have been about 11:30, 11:45, a guy announced, he's like, look, he's all detained under Section 60, we've got reason to believe he's I think somebody says he's carrying weapons or carrying pyrotechnics. Anybody who wants to go to the game can leave the kettle one by one. I think there was about 100 or so people here at this time. Anybody who wants to go to the game can leave the kettle one by one, but you will be subject to a full body search and you have your details taken in front of a camera and then you can go to the game. So we had a very quick sort of chat between us, like, look, this is fucking ridiculous. Nobody's done it here. There's been absolutely zero sign of trouble. If we succumb to this without any sort of blowback, fucking mugs, to be honest.
Yep.
So we stood and they were like, look, nobody's got the game until he's get this search and you give all your details. And we're like, well, we'll not go to the game. That was it. And there was just a bit of a standoff. They weren't letting us go. One or two people who were nothing to do with us left, and sure enough, they were fucking manhandled, a copper each side, taken up to a camera. I had to give you all their details, and then they were on their way. But the rest sort of stood and decided we weren't agreeing to this because it was a fucking attack and civil liberties. We actually thought ourselves, is this even legal? And it transpired it wasn't. But in the moment we weren't really sure. Obviously tensions were high and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
So the minutes ticked on, hours ticked on, got to about, I think must have been about 15 minutes of the game, so maybe that was about 2:15 at this point.
Just to ask you, Martin, right? Because obviously I walked past you, right? And you were in the middle of the road. Did they keep you in the middle of the road, or did they move you off the road?
No, so we've went to go onto the pavement, and because of the numbers, and when we've stopped, the numbers behind have built up, and we've ended up on the road kind of thing. I think that's how it's worked. So we've ended up on the road. So they never moved us there, and they never went to move us off. They seemed happy with us being there, which I was surprised about because obviously there's going to be a build up of traffic.
Yep.
Which in my head I was like, well, they're going to have to let us go because they can't have this traffic building up. But they weren't giving a fuck. They honestly were not giving a fuck.
Because all the supporters buses, we'd take it off basically no long onto London Road and hike it right up to the game because
they weren't caring. It wasn't a concern to them at all.
So see before you go into the thing, so were you kept in the middle of the road for the full duration of the time?
Full time. I hadn't moved. I hadn't moved. I stood in the same area that is what I got at about 10:30 until I finally left the kettle about fucking nearly 3 o'clock. I hadn't moved.
Right. So sorry, mate. Carry on with the rest then, sorry.
So I got to, it must have got to about 2 o'clock, 2:15. I think it was about 20 minutes of the game. I don't know. My memory's a bit hazy. But eventually, John Paul, to his credit, was there pretty much for the game started to the end. And he had relayed a message for the coppers saying they're going to wade in here. So if you don't comply, I leave the kettle, give all your details, go to that camera, they're going to start arresting people. So again, we were like, what the fuck? Bear in mind, a lot of our members there had wains with them. Some wains were 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old. So we'd a very quick, can they do that? We'd a very, very quick decision to make, because if we didn't comply at that point, the threats were, and you could see them moving in. They were there in their fucking hundreds by this point. You could see them moving in. You could see their body, like everything was changing. They were getting more aggressive, and we felt they were ready to move in. So we had a very quick decision to make between us. We're like, well, do we continue to stand our ground and they just fucking lift us in front of wains and lift us in front of our wains and all the rest of it? Or do we fucking reluctantly comply? Some people wanted to fucking stand their ground, and others, we just felt, I think the overwhelming majority just felt, look, it's no fair, like Wayne's are going to get upset and all that here, like this is a fucking situation. We tried to speak to a lawyer, somebody tried to phone a lawyer and be like, look, can they do this? But the word was they were coming in 2 or 3 minutes. So like, look, can they do this? And the lawyer was like, I don't think they can, What's the law they're doing it as? He wasn't 100% sure. So we were like, there is a chance they're going to come in and start nicking people here. So we just reluctantly fucking complied and left the kettle and had to get our details taken with full body searches. Like I said, they were, even at that point, they were trying to get a rise at people. They weren't just holding you, they were grabbing you, taking you to another cordon when you had to say your name with a camera and all that sort of shit. Wallets were getting emptied, my season ticket, I got a picture of my season ticket taken, bank cards, pictures of that taken, and then on your way kind of thing. Weirdly, some people got on the spot fines, which the lawyer since says not to pay, because what they carried out that day, and I wish we'd prepared better for it, but what they carried out that day was unlawful. We didn't have to stand in front of a camera, we didn't have to give details. So I dare say we'll look into that more and maybe take further action on that. But we weren't as prepared as what we should have been. But I think now, given that that's happened, everybody, not just us, not just the boys, not just ultras groups, everybody should know their rights. And I think that's something that we'll need to try and drive and sort of hit home to other people, because anybody could get caught up in that. It wasn't just ultras caught up in that. Like I said, that was ordinary Tims were walking to the game.
Exactly.
They were wanting to search Wayne's. One of the boys had his wee lassie, who was, I think she was 13-year-old, and they weren't letting her out without searching. It's fucking abhorrent, man.
Unbelievable. In this day and age, and the thing is, they've came there with the sole intention of doing that. You know, and as you know yourself, like, the Green Brigade aren't massive in numbers, right? And the amount of people, when you have a curtail and that to the game, probably 10%, 20% of that curtail is the Green Brigade. The rest are just normal Celtic supporters that like a bit of atmosphere, and they join in with you guys, and everybody thinks there's hundreds of people in the Green Brigade, and there actually isn't. And the majority of the people, when you are loads of numbers, are not actually in the Green Brigade. It's just people that like hanging about with you and having a good bit of atmosphere. Young people that like the ultra scene. And
people came to the Celtic Club knowing there was a good chance we'd be there and we get to walk to the game and all that sort of stuff. It's a big game, big day, and they've got fucking caught up in that. Again, I feel for them. I feel for our own boys and lassies now, but I feel even more for the people who were completely innocent and nothing to do with us, and the people who were stuck in traffic and all the rest of it and who couldn't get to the game. Like, it was a fucking brutal situation, and I have to say, listen, the Green Brigade's no angels, and there has been days where maybe overstepped the line, but fuck me, that was honestly the quietest, most peaceful act I've ever been.
Can I just cut in there, Martin? Like, normally when I go to the game, I stay with my pal who lives up literally fucking a 5-minute walk from where this happened, and my intention was to bring him up to the social club and do the walk to the game. But by a confluence of circumstance, I wound up staying in Florida because he wasn't able to stay in his house, and I was in the middle of that with my wee lad, his first game, and his name, and I was like, hey, fucking listen to you tell me this story, because all we have, I suppose, at this minute, I mean, before this, I suppose, is just reports from, like, the internet and stuff, things you hear, and I'm quite terrified by what kids went through and you went through, to be honest with you, mate.
It was honestly unreal. So if you had went that day, mate, they would have, if you wanted to go to the game, which you say the kid was 9? I don't know what their age cut. If they're wanting to search a 13-year-old anyway, put it that way, and her dad was like, "Fuck off!" Like, you're no searching her. But what ultimately happened to the mums and dads who were there, they did get searched like fucking criminals in front of their weans. And that sort of shit fucking stays with kids. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it was just awful. They were awful from start to finish. Like, even there was a fucking good Samaritan came with a slab of juice for us, for Wayne's and for all of us, and we had to pass it in, and they fucking took it off them because they said we'd be likely to use it as weapons. Do you know what I mean? So we couldn't even get a juice off them. That's how antagonistic they were.
So how, see in total, how long were you kettled for? And go?
No far off. By the time from start to finish, for the first moment to the last person leaving, the process to get everybody out took a while because we were so thorough. But it was just shy of 5 hours.
5 hours, no toilet breaks, no
like to go to the toilet, no like a drink of water, obviously nothing to eat, nothing. It's grim, man.
And not a crime has been committed.
No. I wish part of me now does look back and think, should we just have fucking stood our ground? You know what I mean? Because what could they have arrested? Well, they couldn't have. They might have arrested us, but it would have been fucking illegal. And what would have happened if we stood our ground? But like I say, emotions are high. You can fucking see them in front of you. By this point, they're in their hundreds, literally in their hundreds.
There was hundreds. I've seen them.
Emotions are high. You're not wanting, like I say, you're not wanting folk getting the tin. Especially folk that are sitting there are standing there with their veins and that, and you wouldn't have put it by them that day. You wouldn't have put them arresting people in front of their veins or nothing like that. By them. So in a very split second.
Is that the tactic, Martin? Is that the tactic? Is that like get you on the back heel, going like make a decision, make it happen?
Maybe, mate. There's a video of the guy, the police with a megaphone making the announcement, so that like they can't deny that was a threat that they had made. But like I said, they'd no right to make that threat. They'd no right to say we're going to arrest you because there was no fucking crimes being committed. But again, like I say, you're in the moment. You've got a quick decision to make. Note that just impact you or the other people. So we made that decision. I still wonder like what would have happened if we never fucking complied. But I think when you weigh it up, we probably made the right call at the end of the day. We didn't want a bad situation getting worse with boys. And stuff like that.
You're front page news then, aren't you, really?
Exactly, mate.
And
exactly.
So see slightly, well, no off topic, it's the same topic, but similar thing happened to the Rangers Ultras, I believe, they get kettled exactly the same, but did they all comply so they got into the game?
I've heard kind of mixed reports on that, so one of the boys might correct me on this. They did get kettled because we'd heard that through people who were at Celtic Park that they had been kettled, and that was we had thought that it was because they were wearing their fucking blue snoods. None of us were covered up, or I should say that day. I'll come back to that actually. But anyway, we'd thought it was because they were covered up and all that, and they were refusing to do it. And we thought that was the reason why we were getting held. They were going to fucking get them in and then let us go on our way. I think what's happened is they've just complied with the fucking Section 60 stuff and gave them everything they wanted right away. And then they've got in, obviously, whereas we've like, no, fuck that. But there is conflict videos which show them getting walked to the ground, fucking covered right up and all that. But that was another thing I should add, and it's quite an important fact. I'd went for a pint after the game, just after the whole fucking situation, just to cool down a bit. And somebody sent me the statement that the police had released saying that the vast majority of the people who were kettled because they refused to unmask or reveal their identities. That was a fucking utter blatant lie, and you don't need to take my word for it.
I walked past you. I walked past you and seen it. None of you had masks on.
So it's a blatant lie, which again shows sort of sums up their behaviour on the day. And nobody had masks on even at the start. So it's not as if they fucking done it because that happened at the start and we then took them off or anything like that. It was just nothing like that was happening. In actual fact, one of the boys was like, look, it's a fucking problem that boys are wearing hats and sunglasses here, because if that's the issue, we'll fucking take them off. But that wasn't their issue. And then they've then released that statement to the press saying that the group were refusing to reveal their identities and all that push, which was, like I say, just a barefaced lie.
Unbelievable. I mean, the thing is, the ultra groups are kind of keeping them in a job nowadays because they're making up. I mean, obviously, whatever happened in Glasgow city centre, but it's probably wouldn't have happened anyway if they'd let. I'm led to believe yous all walk the way he's wanted to walk to Hampden, and he's get led up Argyle Street. So,
there's another
whether you were there or no, I don't know. But
well, there's another subhint to that, which I'm not going to get into, but I'm not going to sit here and say that average Tims and certainly no average people in the street want to see that sort of stuff. But equally, cast your mind back a few months and at the cup final, they done that exact thing where they walked by all the Celtic boozers, Merchant City, fucking trying to cause it with people out there, walked up the Gallagher and boasted about it online. What are Celtic fans going to do? Are they going to just let them fucking do that, or are they going to stand up for themselves? Which is what happened that day. Like I say, I'm not going to expect anybody to say,
no, I totally get it.
We need more of that. But that they walked up the Gallagher and that completely free to do that. There was no attention given to them or anything like that. See if that's Celtic fans or the Green Brigade or the boys, they're fucking Kettles within seconds. We'd never get away with walking down Paisley Road West End like that the way they did that day.
No, 100%. But see, going back to forget the rivalry or whatever. These are public servants, right? That's out to serve the public, and they've actually got an absolute agenda against the Celtic ultra groups. And whether people like or dislike the Celtic ultra groups, you guys are just supporters. And somebody made a great statement. Celtic have had ultras since Celtic were born. When you go back to the break clubs, you go to supporters clubs, you go to that. It's been one guy's or another throughout the years of following Celtic. You've always had more fervent Celtic fans than other fans that like the guys up the back of the jungle, the whatever, and whatever guys that comes in. But the police have got an absolute hard on for Celtic ultras, and it's like it justifies their paycheck and justifies them sending 20 odd vans to Celtic Park. Well, we've spoken about this in this pod. Let's face it, you go to a Celtic Rangers game at Celtic Park when there's two sets of fans in there. How much violence do you see? You see absolutely nothing. It's policed. They go in one way, we go in the other. They get them out, they get us out, and there's never apart from the odd sporadic thing that might happen. There's very for to say it's the craziest derby in the world and all that. And you look at games that's happened down in England and whatever throughout the years, and nothing actually happens. And they play on it to get a budget and obviously to justify them being at Celtic Park for certain games. And I think it's just despicable.
Listen, I've seen some fucking crazy police tactics over the years at the Fit Band, just in everyday life, to be honest. But what happened last week was by far and away the fucking wildest thing I think I've ever seen. It was just a complete non-event on our part, and not just a complete disproportionate use of resources on theirs. So it was just it was crazy, man, honestly.
Yeah.
But just going back on the ultra thing, I'm aware that the Green Brigade and the whole ultra thing will divide opinion. There might be people on this podcast who don't fucking like us, which is completely fine. But what happened that day for me was an attack on Celtic supporters, and that's why I think it's important that it's not just Green Brigade and boys that are there. And that's why I'm really delighted that CSA and Affiliation and all the others have backed us on that. They've had their critics over the years. Sometimes I've been one of them, but absolutely fair play to them. They've backed us for this for the moment it happened. Basically, they called a meeting. There was a meeting of the fan groups and all that, and they were at the forefront of it. So I think that lends a lot of credibility to the protest on Saturday as well. So fair play to all the other groups for joining us on it.
Well, I was going to mention that. So again, for everybody that doesn't know, is it 1:15 on Saturday?
1:15, aye. Mm-hmm.
Aye. So 1:15 on Saturday at London Road Police Station. There's a protest about the way the police have been acting towards Celtic supporters, and it was great to see, Martin, when you sent us the link, that everybody, all the main supporters groups, the Irish Affiliation, the Celtic Supporters Association, the Celtic Supporters Affiliation, the boys, the Green Brigade, and was there one other?
North American.
North American, CSC. So everybody's lending their support to this, which is, I think it's really important, because you say sometimes it does divide opinion, and I get that. And no getting off topic, but I went to that play last night called Celtic Daz in Glasgow, and it was like just a play in Ormore, and it was really good. And the Green Brigade got a good venture in it, and two old guys sitting talking about it, and they're like, and then they came to the agreement that fucking we can't stand them, they can't stand us, but at the end of the day, we used to be them. And it's like, fucking, we're all cunts and they're young cunts, and it's like, and it's, do you know, and it was quite good, obviously topical at this time, but it got a good cheer for the crowd in that. And I think everybody can realise, you know, and like, it's the passage of time, and younger people want to have a more exuberant experience watching the game and whatever. And let's face it, the things you get pulled up on that's abhorrent to the normal Joe public, fucking no, really. Do you know what I mean? I mean, come on. And the amount of joy and all that he's bringing to the game, and like, I mean, the thing is, that Glasgow derby was fucking awful because you weren't there. You know, the atmosphere for the Celtic support as well. And it just took a massive, and that's something we didn't even cover talking about the game. Do you know what I mean? Because I think that's a big part in it as well.
Well, there's a wider discussion there. We probably don't have to talk about it, right? There is a wider discussion there about the whole ultras culture, essentially Scotland, because Scotland's blessed with great players, great stadiums, great pitches, and like that. But what Scotland does have compared to down south and other countries that are similar size is a fucking thriving fan culture. And instead of trying to embrace it or harness it, what you've seen for the Polish and you've seen for our own club and other clubs is the complete opposite. We guys who are got to these stadiums, not just Celtic Park, are now grown up. I never grew up with a Green Brigade or anything like that, but we guys who have got to games now are grown up with Green Brigade and boys as part of their match day experience. That's they know that as got to Celtic Park every 2 weeks. There'll be an ultras section, there'll be a sort of vocal, colourful support for the team, and they will want to get involved. So it's not going to go away. So the quicker the club and the police and whatever get on board and try and harness that, the better.
100%. I go to all the away games, and me and my mate, and my daughter's older now, right? But Mick takes his two kids, and whatever away stadium we're in, they need to get in the same section as yous, and they all come down and go there, and the goose boy as well. And it's like the kids all want involved in that because it's amazing for them. You know, it's like it's so good, and it's something that has to be embraced rather than fucking demonised. You know, and it's
But I mean, our own club are still they're still slow off the mark offending. They're worse in terms of how they are with us than what they were years before. It's going the other direction, which is fucking mind-boggling, really. But again, we know why.
And that's one of the key things that I was going to say to you, Martin. So since that's happened on Saturday, what communication have you had from Celtic on anything to do with what happened? Apart from John.
Zero. To be fair to JP, I'm sure everybody in here knows him. JP's friend of many people, friend of mine, great guy, good SLO. And he came along and stood with us. And then he phoned me that night. Just you could tell he was fucking angry. To be fair, I hope I'm not breaching his confidence here, but you could tell he was angry. Anyway, he said to me that he had spoke to Michael Nicholson after the game and told him exactly what he'd seen, which obviously wasn't favourable to the Polish. And then the club released a statement. I think it was the next night. It was a weakest piss statement, but to be fair, I was like, look, it's a holding statement. As long as we follow up on it, that's fine. And in that statement, they said that they'll be engaging with supporters to discuss what happened. And 2 weeks on, and they've done fuck all. We've not heard a word for them. The only person I spoke to is JP. So absolutely zero. They've not engaged with anybody as far as I'm aware. The CSA had asked for a meeting and they were told which would have included us, our representatives for us, and they were told, aye, we'll do that. CEO was in New York at the weekend, but we'll do that the following week. And they followed up on that, and it's just been kicked in the road. There's still no date planned, and we've not heard anything from them directly. So I'm not surprised, to be honest, but it's fucking disappointing all the same.
Absolutely, especially the way you've described what happened a couple of weekends ago, and last weekend. I'm losing my mind, but no, 2 weekends ago, I'm losing my mind. But especially the way you've described how horrific it was for yourself and everybody else there in the club. Is it no communication with you guys at all?
Well, they've had all the evidence. They've had all the evidence under the sun. They've had an employee who was there, gave them his version of events. So there's really no reason. But it's just way down the list of priorities, Jason. To be honest, I think that's my instinct. They don't really care that much. There'll be other more important things to them than that. Just fucking shite again, obviously.
Rubbish, mate. But listen, Martin, thanks a million. So we've got who's still on? Liam, Marty, and that. You got any questions you want to ask Martin or whatever? Anything?
No, I just want to express my everlasting fucking derision for Police Scotland, and I'm not one bit surprised at their behaviour, not one bit surprised at their actions. And I just hope as many people as possible turn up outside the police station where myself and Scott McCarry have been residents of it for various days. But yeah, I just want to wish as well, boys. It's, as you said, it's not about the Green Brigade. It could have happened to anybody walking out that day. They could have got kettled in hell for 5 hours without toilet facilities. It's just absolutely disgusting. But in Scotland, I have to say, I was not surprised.
Yeah, just to add to that, Martin. I mean, Martin, we've spoke on this programme many, many times about fucking ridiculous behaviour from the police. I don't know if you listen or not to us regularly or not, but we've been to many, many away games. Jason and I go to most games together. You know, Easter Road, many places, the police are deliberately antagonising people, crushing people when it's unnecessary, just trying to goad people into reactions, you know, all the time. And I'm actually amazed that there's been so few reactions to what they've done, you know, in all the ones I've witnessed myself. And you think in an age where there's more kids and women at football and stuff, that, you know, it's no better from their regard in terms of how they treat people. And we spoke about it multiple times on this show. And I don't know how old you are, Martin, but Jason and I are of a similar age and went to a lot of football in England in the late 80s, and fucking absolute warfield every single time, you know, in the stadium, around the stadium. It's just light years away from that in Scotland these days. So we've seen this firsthand. We were there, the Offensive Behaviour at Football Act, you know, all those years ago, demonstrating and standing together with everybody. And, you know, we'll just need to do the same again. And we'll be there Saturday to give everybody the full support. And like you said, it's a much wider issue than just the Ultras just now. So I hope there's a big support there on Saturday. And I'm really interested. I wasn't surprised that something happened at that game, because once obviously the kick-off in the town had happened at the cup final, and then the police getting them powers, you knew they were going to do something. But even by their standards, it took me by surprise, the scale and the audacity of what they actually that they've just tried to attempt there. And I really hope they're taken to the cleaners for it. I really do.
Thank you. Listen, I know you want to crack on and talk about the game and that the weekend. There's just one final thing that you'd mentioned about the Offensive Behaviour Act. That was repealed, not exclusively, but largely because of Celtic fans. I think everybody knows that. That was a long battle for many years, and it's credit to people who were absolutely at the forefront of that. Hopefully, this won't be a battle like that, but if we let it slide and this Section 60 push does take off, then that will just be the norm for football fans for years to come. So that's why Saturday's important, that it gets fucking nipped in the bud, and a message is sent that Celtic fans are not going to be fucked with. We'll stand up for ourselves as we have done many, many times in the past. We'll do it again, and that's why I appeal to as many people as possible to come on Saturday and show your support.
See to that point, Martin, right? And I attended the rallies in George Square, etc. Right, and you had Motherwell fans were there, no big numbers, but they did come. You had the odd Hibs fan, and I do believe that the Hibs Ultras send you a message or some. But I'm interested to know, is any other team contacted you, their ultra groups or fans or whatever, that they're willing to protest against this, or is this just going to be a Celtic-led thing again and nobody else will bother?
I think it's a different environment now to what it was 10 years ago. All these wee teams and other teams have got their own wee groups forming, as we touched on earlier about this culture, and a lot of them are full of switched on boys and lassies who these clubs never had these wee groups 10, 12 years ago. So I think that you will start to see a more united movement within the next few weeks or months or whatever it may be. Like I say, I think that the landscape's changed a wee bit now, and it's not just Celtic isn't the only club with a prominent ultras group. You've got groups popping up all over the place. So we've already saw some clubs have come out and released their own stuff, and that's great to see, obviously. So we'll just sort of see what happens on that front.
And the big question, would the other mob ever get involved in backing it, or is it because they deem it as a Celtic-led thing that they'll fucking have nothing to do with it? Because that's a really important thing. That see if they were to get involved as well, but I don't know.
I couldn't speak for my group on that, to be honest. I've got my own feelings on that, and I dare say you'll have some who'll be like, well, a united front would be a really strong message to authorities, and then you'd have others who understandably will fuck them, they're full of fucking racists.
Well, no,
exactly.
where I would have a problem with it would be, I know they wouldn't push the campaign as far as we would.
No, but they could have their own campaign. I don't mean a campaign.
But that's entirely up to them. But if you were having a joint campaign with them, you knew you couldn't trust them, because we'd be pushing for plan A and then go for plan B.
Now we're getting into fantasies, politics. Yeah.
I don't mean fucking walking hand in hand up the street with them.
There's no dizzy cheering coming.
Hold on, Joe. And I'm not saying you would, Jason, but what I'm saying is that our people would have an objective, and we would, like the Offensive Behaviour Act, we would have an objective to do something, to get rid of it, or to push this or do that, and we know that they would settle for less. And they would take the legs from under you before you would get to your goal.
I do get where you're coming from there, Marty.
It's in their DNA to fucking bend the knee. It's in our DNA to fucking.
It's an under the bus culture, isn't it? Like
exactly. And let's face it, the Offensive Behaviour Football Act getting repealed helped them every bit as much as it helped us. But they would never give you credit for that, because they would never have pursued it.
It's like the hunger strikes. They benefited from the hunger strikers in the prisons. They got the same treatment that the hunger strikers fought for, but they wouldn't have fucking starved themselves for more than half a day.
Never mention it. Martin, mate, I can't thank you enough for coming on here. I feel like me and my son quite literally had a sliding doors moment.
Sounds like it.
I swear to God.
Although maybe they'd have done you a fucking favour, to be fair.
Do you know what though? Like, here, Liam, you know where I would be staying. Like, mate, I'd have been walking on that road. Like, you know what I mean? You do yourself, but that's right there. Like, wait,
Joe. I've had my daughter. I've had Zoe there a few years back to walk down with him. When she was 9 or 10. So it could have been anyone easily.
So it's like, and to hear you kind of lay it out, practically in the way it was, like in situ, it's terrifying, mate. To be honest with you, it's quite terrifying.
Yeah, it was grim. Honestly, it was grim. But like I said, Saturday's the chance to make sure shit like that doesn't happen again. So it is, like, anybody that's listening or thinking about going, then please do make the effort. It's an extra 1 pint less than a boozer, and you'll be along.
100%, Martin, and we'll all be there anyway. So.
Appreciate that, buddy.
Right, magic. I appreciate that, right?
Listen,
hail, comrade.
Take care of yourself.
Take it easy, man.
Cheers for that. See you later, right?
Cheers,
Yeesh. That was a fucking... that's a lot to take in.
It's not surprising at all.
I know, but it's a lot to take in. You know, like I didn't like. I mean, again, like I said to Martin, like you're reading social media stuff, you're reading like your novel board, Celtic Minded, blah blah blah. You're gathering all this information, but it doesn't kind of level off with what you just heard from him. I mean, it doesn't, like, because what he just told us was fucking quite distressing. I mean,
100%.
Yeah, I listened to that. Jeanette was on with Graham Spears last just a few days after it, and I had to listen to that. That was good. Jeanette was obviously as brilliant as ever, but there was a boy, Liam O'Hare, O'Hare, filmmaker. He spoke really well as well. But they gave pretty much the same account of what Martin described there. So it's fucking appalling.
It's fucking disgraceful. And see, the thing is that people hold the police up on this fucking pedestal that these guys and women are public servants. And I told you at the time when I was meeting Harper before the Young Boys, what was it? What was the European game? I'm saying Young Boys. What was it Young Boys?
It was the last one, wasn't it, Young Boys?
Aye, it was Young Boys. Aye. The European game there, and the way me and Ellie were treated to try and walk round to the main stand, and all these fucking it was fucking disgusting, and fucking charging up the street days with horses and everything. And you're like, fucking, if there was not one policeman in attendance at that game, there wouldn't have been one fight. You know, everybody would just filtered into the game, had a good time, walked away, and the Young Boys fans would have swapped scarves with Celtic fans walking up the road. Nothing would have happened. It's fucking, it's bordering on criminality with what they're actually doing. You know, and they've got a mandate now because they've got a young fan base that they want to target, that's only want to bring fucking colour and whatever to Celtic Park. And they do step over the line with certain laws of the land that aren't allowed, but a lot of them are fucking bullshit. And let's face it, are they a danger to the public? You know, is the vast majority of football fans a danger to the public? Not at all. It's a nonsense. It's an absolute fucking nonsense. But you see it all the time, and it's just very, very sad. So I hope load of Celtic fans heed the message that Martin gave out, and we all turn up there at 1:15 on Saturday. And
yeah, it's almost like this unsanctioned gathering. What's this unsanctioned gathering? Fuck this. Bring it up. You're like, fucking, I'm starting to feel like it's a bit of a fucking charged decking fucking, I don't know, authoritarian fucking, the poorer you are, the more you do on your own, the more we will fucking hate you vibe coming down the lane in the world. And it's creating a fucking headache in the middle of the center of my head right now. I mean,
it's depressing with the club being as spineless as ever as well, isn't it?
well, as he said, it's a holding statement, but I wouldn't be holding my breath waiting for it there, and you know, and it's
to be fuck all, man.
He told me a funny one, and I was going to say it there, but it wasn't at the time because it was all quiet. But he says, "I seen you, mate, when I walked by with the Basques, because obviously we had to jump off the bus because the bus wasn't moving." But what the fuck? And I thought it was just a curtail going to the game. And then as we get further up by the whiskey factory and that, then you could see, and you're like, oh, fucking hell, amount of police vans. So the police had them all, and I'm like, it's a fucking disgrace. You're a fucking public servants. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, he's trying to go to the football and that. So he'd obviously seen me shouting, and he says, cheers for the support. He says, but there was another guy, and he says the vast majority of people were doing the same to the police and whatever. And one guy shouted, fucking disgrace, it's a fucking joke. Like, cheers for the support. And the guy's like, I'm fucking shouting at you, you shouting at bastards. One Celtic supporter. But I know some older guys that fucking hate them, you know, and they're like, they bastards bringing our club down and all. I'm like, see you. So there's the odd one out there.
I'm in group chats with someone, and I was having the same fucking argument the other day, and in fairness, they were very much in the minority.
Aye. I mean, I get I get a load of the stuff that they do. People don't agree with, right? I get that, right?
We have said it on here, Jason.
Exactly, right? And I don't agree with some of the stuff they do, right?
Correct.
I've called them out as well. I'm not in the Green Brigade. I don't agree with a load of the stuff. Not a load of the stuff. I don't agree with some of the stuff they do, right? It's fine, but that's all right, you know. But fucking the Celtic supporters, they don't fucking hate them, and it's like. But some people actually hate them, and you're like, fucking, like, you know, it's just like, aye, less said about the end of the day. As I've said, there is no Celtic family. Well, it probably is, because fucking we've all got family members we fucking hate anyway. So but it's just terrible, you know, terrible. What actually happens and the way the police operate, it's just awful. Because let's face it, there's crimes going on in Glasgow. The fucking
I know, but
right?
if you can provoke a crime in front of you, if I can provoke a crime in front of me, it says we have to go and find one.
You think, right? You think, see the Green Brigade, what they've brought to Celtic Park. You think of the tourism that's brought to Celtic Park. Because of what the lads have done and what the boys have done, the full ultra culture. You think about the money that's brought into the city of Glasgow over the course of the last 10, 15 years.
Do you want to know what the main chat was among Celtic fans going back on the plane? What do you think it was? Wasn't the result?
Because the Green Brigade were there.
Where was the Green Brigade? Oh, the Green Brigade weren't there. Ah, fucking everybody's on the phone. Green Brigade weren't there. Green Brigade weren't there. That was the chat. Right? It's fucking. It's like I don't know. I mean, logic in my mind must be different to other people's minds because I think an ultra culture like this here of football in Scotland evolves because Scotland is football crazy, like you've always said, Jason, right? But there's also young people need an outlet, a place to go and be young people to expand that energy. And they get that at Celtic Park and they get that at ultra culture, right? When people go, or councils go, or governments go, why are they doing that? Right? Nobody ever thinks, well, what are we doing for them? What are we giving them? Can we fund this? Can we do something for this? Can we offer more to this? I mean, it's always the negative viewpoint. What are they doing? Why are they doing that? That's offensive. We don't want that. And fucking, you know, listen, young people, like, change is inevitable. One thing that's always inevitable is change, right? But cycles are always the same. Football culture will always cycle. There will always be that element of football culture. We're fucking mad into it because it's a generational thing. It's an age thing as well. At a certain point in your life, you're into football, you want to do that fucking mad thing. We've all been there, right? It may be 5 years, maybe fucking a year, maybe 2 years. It could be like Jambos, could be all your life. But I just think to demonize that and to criminalize that, it just takes so much away from society in general.
Fuck the police.
Straight from the underground. Young shooter got it bad because I'm up in the north.
Yeah, fuck them. Right, I have to go, but before I do, I want to fucking plug. So going from the bad to the best, I just want to remind everybody that the Kano Foundation 15th anniversary big fucking gig is on the Armadillo on Saturday the 26th of April.
Armadillo!
Get your tickets now because the fucking bands are outstanding. There's a few Celtic legends are going to be coming along. They haven't said who, but we're all kind of hoping for our own special heroes. So I think there's a fair chance that could happen. So just everybody get on to the Kano Foundation's website, the Armadillo, SEC Armadillo's website, or click on their Facebook pages or their social media accounts or Instagram accounts and get your fucking tickets bought because it's going to be some night.
Is it 19,000 kids now they've got?
The 19,000th child went through the turnstiles a couple of weeks ago, and the wee girl was from West Belfast, which is always fucking class.
19,000 kids.
19,000 children free in the football. Like how much is it? Like 25 quid or something to get in. So imagine 19,000 times 25. Fuck that hell. It's a raw fortune. Do you know what I mean when you think about it that way? But such a brilliant charity, and it could be a class night.
Just the best of the Celtic support. It's just like when you
Absolutely.
there is. I mean, see when we talk about there is a club like no other. When you talk about the Kano Foundation, that statement rings true more than ever.
So if you hate the Scottish police as much as I do, go and buy your fucking tickets.
Exactly. You know what? If you want to have a hand on Celtic supporters bringing kids through turnstiles, right?
So you've seen the Green Brigade's Kettles. This is the fucking singing kettle. Bands everywhere. Class night out. Brilliant venue. And just celebrate, as Jason said, of all the best that we are.
We should do a week, right? It's a wild idea. Joe Mack can kill me. The Kettle Foundation, have them all just like in a big circle. No?
That's called the huddle, you dick.
Joe, as we said, you did well right at the start of the podcast.
Right, let's move on to Rio Tati then.
Right, I gotta go, but I'll speak to you all soon. Love you all.
Joe, tell us about Lisbon first.
Oh, fuck Lisbon,
Exactly.
Marty, fuck off and burn your saber truck.
Bye.
God bless Marty. See you, mate.
Marty Flynn's gone off. He's had enough Fignonaire. He's back to the Protestant estate he lives in. Anyway, Lisbon, you know what? Lisbon's a beautiful city, man. Beautiful city. Lovely place. And I suppose, like, my wife been there before, so we went there we went from Thursday to Sunday. And no, it was Thursday, Thursday to Sunday. Patient rain pretty much most of the time. And but I've never been there, and I love new cities. Like, I don't like I know it's got a good transport system, but I like to wander around. You're a little bit like that, Liam, are you? You like to wander around? Or is that Jabo?
Lovely, mate. Yeah.
I wander around. Aimlessly kind of go straight to street and just fucking look around. And but my entire intention, I suppose, when I was there, was to go out to the Stadio Nacional, and Liam sent me probably the most comprehensive tour guide I've ever been given in my life.
Not surprised one iota.
Fuck. All it was missing was a couple of live locations. But I fucking I went there. Came in, went there for a few days. And just she'd been there, but I was like, it was a lovely place to kind of wander around, very clean, very nice. But I'm one of them ones going like, after a day, you can kind of see the city. You took around the city. I'm one of them ones going like, I need to talk to somebody. I need to find somebody who fucking actually lives here. Like, it's actually Portuguese, and it's like not because Lisbon appears to be quite a rich place when you wander around it. No, it's kind of a wealthy enough city to live in comparison to the rest of.
I don't know compared to the rest of Portugal, but
that's kind of very the architecture. And that's lovely,
Well, this is kind of what I learned from Hugo, the bartender in the hotel, who was 20. Whose English was fantastic. But anyway, point is, we did all the kind of touristy shit. But obviously, I went out and took Liam's guide to the fucking literally to the minute, Liam. I gotta be honest with you, to the minute, and got up to the Estadio Nacional. Well, then, as a good Christian, went into the reception and said to the guy, "I'm a Celtic fan. I'm here," and he just got up off his seat and his other problem goes, "There, don't go on the track, don't go on the pitch, spend as much time as you want." And I give him a tenner. Once I give him a tenner, I was like, I could have just wandered into this fucking place, couldn't I?
Yeah.
I could have just walked in the fucking. Nobody's going to stop me. But I felt kind of like it was a rite of passage to some degree. And then I kind of wandered around. And it seems to be like moderately untouched in about, 80 years?
Yeah. I love it there, man. Honestly,
that's the major attraction for a Celtic fan. When you go there, it's the same as what it was like.
See, I didn't realise that there wasn't a stand on the other side until I was there. I was like, and I've watched this match. I was going like, how the fuck did it not occur to me?
Yeah, you can feel what it must have been like on the day. You know what I mean? You can. There's just something in the air when you're there. It's incredible, man. Really is incredible.
You walk up the tunnel and you kind of walk to obviously it was closed off, and I was like, do you know what, this at that point in '67, this I started watching back videos of Jimmy Johnson talking about the experience and Bertie All talking about the experience. And I remember like Jimmy Johnson said, he says, walked into this courtyard. He said it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. He said it was trees. He said it was really nice. He said it was very. He said, and the tunnel was in front of you. He said we all walked into the tunnel, and I was like standing there going like, it is really kind of beautiful. It is really nice. There are loads of trees, and the tunnel is just fucking literally right there. And I was like, this is football at its core. Really, at that time, this is football at its core, and the biggest praise is on the line. And it's when you start processing that, you start going, fuck me, imagine being imagine. And also when you come up that road as well, you're kind of going like, imagine a trip about this road, like nobody knowing where it is. Like I've got Liam's fucking obviously pin by pin map. But there's other fucking cunts coming from Glasgow and going, don't know where they're going. You go like, and all that's going through your head as you're kind of there, walking through it, walking around it, and fucking just wandering around and just like kind of soaking it in. It was one of those moments going like, yeah, it is kind of what everybody says it is. Right?
Yeah. See, when you come out around the trees, Joe, when you're walking through the park and you just suddenly the floodlights come out of nowhere, man, it's fucking
they are the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. That's my favorite.
Who the fuck invented those? Because you can see them from the train. I mean, they're that big, like. I mean, you go fucking, and they look like kind of like some sort of Greek monument. You're like, this is fucking mental. I mean, it's kind of like it is the ultimate sort of stage for something monumental, and it still exists in that form. And you're going like, that doesn't happen a lot in the modern world. I mean, and to wander around, it was brilliant. And the one thing that kind of frightened me was like looking at those fucking 6 foot fucking concrete pits that some poor bastard at some point on a pitch and vision didn't measure enough and wound up fucking crushed. And that kind of freaked me the fuck out. But the guy was like, don't go on the racetrack and don't go on the pitch. I was like, and then Marty was calling me a fruit in the chat. And I was like, fuck. Right. So I kind of took a wee rollover when nobody's running the track, just fucking kind of put myself on the side of the pitch and went, you know what? This is well worth the trip.
Yeah. I mean, I was there. I was there twice before, Joe. Once with Jason. I don't know if Scott, whether you were there or not, but got to go on the pitch with the Lions on the pitch at the same time. Team training on the pitch beforehand. I mean, that's just incredible. Do you know what I mean? And about 1,000 Celtic fans recreating the winning goal in the goal mouth, and fucking Jason speaking to about 500 of them, knowing them all personally. So. Remember the old boys, Jason, on the bench, sitting on the benches, just drinking cans from Wishaw. Brilliant.
Oh, boys, fucking Perry Daly. He's about fucking 2-year-old of me.
Tough paper red.
It's brilliant, man. I'm going to go back again in the summer. I'm going to go back.
So it's one of the. I was the same. Like, I kind of walked away going like, well, I've done that. And then I got the train. I was like, all right, do you know what? I kind of want to go do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved it. Loved Lisbon. Loved the people of Lisbon. Right?
I think Scott or someone maybe said they're on about putting a roof on, but it'll completely spoil it for me if they do that completely. But I think they use it quite a lot now. I think they play quite a lot of football up there.
The lad in our hotel, Hugo, at the bar said they played National Cup finals on it, no?
Yeah, rugby there as well.
That's what he said, huh? He said still, yeah. He said no problem, yeah. And he's a big Benfica fan.
Yeah, Portugal trained there, or played or trained there. I think they trained there maybe, and so yeah, it's definitely getting used a lot. But just the steps up out of the ground into the pitch is amazing, and the floodlights should never ever change that.
Yeah, it's class. It's fucking. And the thing is, I said the security guard. I said, "You get many Celtic fans?" He goes, "Every single day."
Every day, totally.
Yeah, every single day. And every day he goes. Never a day with no Celtic fans.
It's mad, that isn't it? That's so mad. Like fucking, I must just think we're absolutely mental.
And when I was there, a couple turned up, right?
Yeah.
And then when I was walking down the hill, an hour or two couples were walking up.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fucking like, does that ever happen anywhere else? Does that happen anywhere else?" Like he said every day, every single day. And not one. And he goes, not one. He goes, many.
Yeah,
I told you the one about the one in Talk Sport. I've said it one year before, but no Talk Sport. That World Football phone-in. some guy was talking, and he says about he was there reporting the English team. They were training there for the Euros or whatever, and he was standing with Beckham and all that, and this guy come wandering in aimlessly onto the park and walked by, and the guy's like looking, whatever. So he says, I was interested to see what he was doing. The next thing the guys went down and knelt down and started kissing the turf and all that. The guy's like, you all right, mate? He's like, aye, no bother. He says, what are you here for? He says, well, I'm a Celtic fan. And he says, this is a pilgrimage I have to make. He's like, all right. He says, I've got David Beckham and that here. The boy's like, I'm not fucking interested. He says, all I'm here is to see the park. The guy just went up after he'd done all his stuff, took his photos and that, and just walked right off the park. Never even looked at any of the English players to get an autograph or anything like that. Just fucking strolled away. The guy's like, that's fucking bizarre. And he's like, that just shows you what that means to them. It's their mecca.
Yeah, definitely. And Joe, you talked about getting yourself around Lisbon. My pal Paul Flynn, Jason, Flinny, listens to the show all the time.
Yep.
He was there the same time as you, Joe, and I thought he might bump into you, but I saw him at work there the other day. I was like, how'd you get on? I was like, went to the stadium from the airport, pissed. I said, what else did you do? And nothing really, just sat in the pub the whole time. So not much of a tourist, just enjoying himself in the pub. But there's so much to do in Lisbon, man. It's a great place. Great spot. You met Jota as well on the way home on the plane. Jota was on the same flight as him.
Was you on the wing?
On the wing, yeah. On the wing, so that's a good coverage, Joe. Have we lost him? I think we've lost him.
Joe, you there? Scott's there. Scott, you there?
Still here, bud?
Still here. So what's our thoughts and aspirations for the fucking rest of the season?
I don't know. I mean,
Trouble,
do you not think we're kind of... I mean, there you go. We're sitting here the new and we're saying about the treble. I don't ever want to dismiss people's heartfelt opinions about what's went on and stuff, because like I'm saying, we're sitting here the new, and because they were the last game, we're basically sitting fucking battering our heats, aren't we? We started off talking about the Huns, and then we've talked about the fucking coppers beating us up, and now, do you know what I mean? And even fucking, it's a mad thing to think of when you see when Bayern Munich put us out. You think, when's the last time in Europe we've been put out of Europe? And generally everybody was like, good job. It's not happened in a long time. I mean, I felt people went all the score with Ange's fitba. To be honest, I was pretty disappointed how we performed last season. And I came through it, and I'm kind of looking at Bayern Munich, and I know what Bayern Munich can do, and I kind of went, right, aye, that seems a bit fair. I mean, a wee turn of luck, and we could have got ourselves maybe a round more by getting a team that kind of more suited us. But I mean, we're only a couple of months away, and we'll be doing a fucking season review, and I dare say the season review will be very, very kind on this season.
Yeah.
In the cold light of day,
And let's face it, Scott, see if we'd played the Monkey Tonks like 6 weeks ago and they'd done that to us, then we'd beat Hibs in the quarter-final.
Exactly.
The split. And like, it would be a totally different perception.
Exactly. Right, the thing is, right, no matter how much we deny it, the press will always have an impact on any day in Scotland, right? So obviously the legacy media stuff is by and by. There's still people out there to buy papers. I've not bought a paper, even people who would read things online. But that result and that performance ekes into other things. So you listen to the football, the football phone-in thing, right? The World Football Phone-in. So I listen to a whole bunch of pods and see that result. That result comes in. It comes in. Oh, so Rangers beat. This is the first time they beat. Barry Ferguson's come in, and everything I'm watching, it's eating in. So it is getting to you. It might not be direct. Do you know what I mean? Like I listen to Football Ramble, which is 99% English football, and if we beat the Huns, they don't mention it because we should. But see, when the Huns win, it's there. It's talked about. Know what I mean? So I think in the cold light of day. Listen, we know we are not the finished product. We spoke about it. I mean, there's P. Davison saying, do you think we've been a totally different team since Christmas? No, really, no. Because Kuhn's done what he's done. Kyogo leaving. Maeda playing up top. Greg Taylor being told. See, there's a thing we never spoke about the Huns.
Aye, Greg Taylor.
Greg Taylor. Now, I myself said, do you think we are beyond the point of Greg Taylor coming into midfield? Do you now think, I think it was on the Celtic Exchange said it, do you think that Greg Taylor coming into midfield would have really, really helped that game?
Totally.
And it's a mad thing that nobody, I couldn't believe nobody mentioned it. In the pub after it on the way home, nobody mentioned it.
And by the way, the thing is, the way his game is, he plays his best football when he's a kind of midfielder because he's like that inverted fullback, and then when he pulls in midfield, he's got the dig and he's good on the ball.
Yeah, definitely. It's I don't ever want to see. The thing is, right? The Huns game wasn't a disaster. However, it shouldn't be swept under the carpet. It's in the middle. It should be spoken about.
I'm glad you said that because that's what I was like. Because see the amount of folk that think it was an absolute disaster. It wasn't anywhere near the same as the Ibrox game, right? And we should have got something out of that game. We deserve to get something out of the game on the balance of play over the 90 minutes, right? But we didn't.
I agree.
Aye.
No, that's. I came out of that game, right, and one of my best mates, Stu, he's bad for mixing drink and hyperbole, to be honest, when it comes to these things, and he was off in rants here and there and that. I think in a cold, it's sort of could be out for Huns. It was sort of could be out for Huns when I was a wee guy. It was sort of could be out for Huns. Doesn't matter when they beat you, it's sore, right? But the fact of the matter is, we dominate this league. We are dominating. We should dominate, and we are dominating it. And the manager, I can't believe some of the stuff I'm reading about the manager. I get that people don't like Brendan Rodgers. I get that. But there's people almost kind of going, it's time to cut loose and all that. I'd be devastated if he doesn't sign another deal.
Oh my God,
mate, this is a godzone, and I hate being a guy who sits on here and kind of points to a nameless face. Do you know what I mean? I hate you using that for an argument, using somebody that can't defend themselves. But I'm seeing, I mean, obviously the huddle boards is some of the stuff on the huddle boards wild, and Twitter and social media is equally as fucking mental. But we need to. It's mad that we can come off of the Bayern Munich game where every one of us were so proud of our club and our team and the way and how far we've came to the point that we're absolutely doubting everybody in the pitch. Not one player. Kasper Schmeichel was done. I saw that. CCV he's injury prone, and he's not been that good this season. Engels 11 dud. Ida dud. Kuhn flash in the pan. Know what I mean? And it's Alistair Johnson. I saw everybody get Sloop. How do we think this guy was going to be? And I'm going. I mean,
Scott, there was Celtic fans, many of them saying before the game, McGregor being out might not be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Every one of them should have the season tickets fucking taken away, man, and fucked in the Clyde.
Yeah, it's mental. It's mental. but see, be honest, Liam, right? Some of our best midfield performances for Hatate have generally been when Callum McGregor's no there. And we've got Jason on here who rates Hatate. I think I'm trying to word this correctly.
I think this is the right point.
No, but I'm trying to word this right to make myself right here because you rate him very highly. I rate him equally highly. However, I think his down points are quite stark. That makes me doubt him, if that makes sense.
Well, I would agree with you, right? But on the qualifying there is like, see if he didn't have the down points, he wouldn't be playing with us. Because I think the guy is a fucking absolute genius. And I think he's an unbelievable football player that we're lucky to have. But I totally agree with you, Scott. He's got down points that you're like, how can you not do that all the time? And if he could do the stuff that he does all the time, then he'd be playing with fucking Real Madrid.
But he's not. He's not a genius, man. He's not a Lubo. He's not anywhere near that level.
Right.
That's every football player with potential ever.
No.
To a certain degree,
Joe, a guy with potential. See the important goals he scored for us. By the way, he scored against them. Fucking.
I know. But potential is always the next level.
Listen,
it always is.
Right. I don't know how good he could be, but he's obviously no. I don't think he consistently plays at the ability he's possibly able to play at. So I don't know the reason why. Maybe it's the league he's playing in. Maybe it's the way he's getting played. I don't know. I've got no idea. But what I see when I watch that guy's an amazing football player. And he scored some amazing goals for us, some right important goals for us. Some of the football he's played has been absolutely outstanding. And I just think the guy's a quality player. And I get the fact that some games he's maybe no at himself and whatever. He's a Japanese guy living in Scotland. I mean, cut him some slack. Like it's no a thing that any of us could ever equate to. You know, living away for your family, stuff like that. I don't know, but the guy's a quality football player. And the amount of Celtic fans that say he's fucking hopeless, he's fucking get that attack, a load of fucking shite. And every podcast or anything that I listen to in Scottish football, every player that plays against him backs me up and says he's unbelievable when you're playing against him. So
go on.
Liam, you say your point, and then do you think we should read out Joe's comments?
Yeah, we'll find them. Someone find them while I just say my.
I will happily put my hands up and go. That's good.
So Liam, you're the man to find stuff.
I still think even the assertion.
I know what I said. Here, by the way.
I know, but I think even the assertion that they played in the championship was mental.
I know, yeah. That's, you know what? That's why you shouldn't text on the school run.
What? But Joe, see Birmingham were in the Premier League. I could kind of get you.
But see,
I
think what happened. I think what happened in my head, right, Scott? This is my analysis, right? Is that I seen the text. I was like,
wait, we need to put some context in this because we're basically having a.
Go ahead, out me. Let's go.
Well, out you, big Gable.
Can't say that stuff now, Scott.
I'm scrolling back now.
I'm old. I can.
I'll tell you what happened, mate. Somebody know what Hatate, and
I asked a question about Hatate, right? And it came on the back of the open goal where Halliday basically suggested that Engels was nowhere near our most important player, Hatate, right? And the fact that it's coming for a guy who played against Bath, I think, leads to his experience having a bit. So, but I then asked the question to the group. I basically said, should Hatate be wanting the move that he allegedly, and I'm doing finger quotes here, allegedly wants and has been wanting, how much do we think we would get for him? How much and what level do we think he can realistically look to get to? So Liam being Liam kind of came away. He thought Spain would shoot him better. But Joe jumped in and says, I'd say Birmingham level like Iwata. As for price, I'm not sure, maybe 90, 11 million. Right.
So the price.
Joe, tell us what you're thinking.
The price wasn't bad though.
Right, tell us what you're thinking.
My thinking was, listen, I'm gonna fucking jump in here, 2 studs, and fuck them. And also, in my mind, I thought, who's the last Japanese guy we sold to somebody? And then went, Iwata. And then I assumed they were in the championship. They were like, that's decent enough. And then,
so how much did we sell Iwata for?
Undisclosed, I think.
I thought
4 shekels.
I'd say $1 million tops.
So I was listen, football analysis and transfer analysis from my area is not trustworthy.
So Joe, you're coaching kids now, is that right?
I should stay coaching kids.
Right. No. But you're coaching kids, and you're looking at a bit. We've used the word before, a bit of equilibrium, right? And you're actually comparing Iwata with Hatate.
No, it's not what I said.
Is that just because he's Japanese?
Yeah, we got some casual racism going here, boys.
Right.
You know what? What I've got in my mind is a bus company.
A bus company?
Just Iwata Hatate Highland Tours. Let's go.
I've took the dairy for that, right? And there's Japanese people flocking to the Highlands as we speak, right? But the bottom line is, you mentioned Iwata and Hatate in the same breath, right?
I did.
What did Iwata do for Celtic?
It's not what he did. My problem was that I see the lows of Hatate. They make me very, very frightened, right? That's where it comes from, right? Like I said in the last podcast 3 weeks ago, what the fuck was it like, see the drop off in Hatate? It goes from genius to fucking nothing to a certain degree, right? But I see that in young kids too, right? And it's a potential confidence thing. And I suppose my point was he could be an Iwata, but he's not.
You're fucking me that
Politicians respond.
No, that's not even a politician's answer. That's just fucking rambling shit.
That's a Donald Trump answer.
You should. That is.
Well, then what do you want to hear? What do you want to hear? Listen, it was a fucking stupid thing to say. That's what I know.
Exactly. Why do you say that?
That's what we want you to say.
Why? Because it doesn't create content. Right? That's why.
Joe's a content guy.
Think we are monetizing this fucking podcast or something?
No.
Content.
Now you've all got to hold on to Patreon to hear what we really think.
All right, the bonus joke bullshit. No.
See, when I win that Euro Millions, I'm creating this podcast for us and I'm paying you full-time wages and fucking we're going to take this to the next level, Joe. That's not going to drive any content.
Joe, that's not going to bring the millions in, Joe.
Here's the thing, lads. You don't understand. Listen, there's an audience for everything. Everything. See if I want to go online and clean my fucking toenails for fucking like 3 hours a day, some cunt's gonna watch it. Guarantee. Right? There's an audience for everything. Fuck me. We're talking about matches that happened 3 weeks ago. People are listening. What the fuck? Right? People listen to jungle music.
Send Joe a bigger spade.
Joe, you could do that Wi-Fi fucking up again, man. Cutting you off.
I'm sorry you lads don't have vision.
Vision, fucking Awata.
Fucking
That
double
guy.
vision.
Okay.
Right. Well, fuck, where are we going here?
Hertz.
Hertz.
So what's the right? Is Bernardo back fit?
Yeah.
He done a presser today saying that he's back. He's been back training and he would like to be involved, but it's obviously up to the manager.
Brilliant. That's what we want to hear. What about Jamesy Forrest?
Jamesy Forrest was allegedly back for the Huns game, and that was 2 weeks ago. So,
Right. Okay. So looking up McGregor. I take it he's back.
we're going to think Calmack's back. Yeah,
Aye, he was touch and go for their game.
the keeper.
Aye, so Sinisalo, well, Liam, you've been quite vocal about this in the chat. You're quite up for this, and I kind of don't disagree with you. On you go, mate.
Yeah, he just. I mean, Schmeichel's a massive loss to us, and I would love him to be around for the end of the season. He's played so well this season; he deserves to be there. But you know, the only silver lining, I guess, is that we bought this goalie with a decent reputation. Seen him once in a game where he barely touched the ball, so I'm just quite interested and excited to see what he's all about. My pal, who, you know, not knew him directly, but knew some people whose boys at a goalie at West Brom, seems to think he's a real deal. Like, he's got a lot about him, so it'd be interesting. It's a really good opportunity for him, isn't it? It's 8 or 10 games or whatever we got left. Some games at Hampden, games to win the league, a derby game still. So it'd be it's a really good. Yeah, I just think it's a really good opportunity for him. So I'm interested.
You have to imagine he's going to be playing this week up in St Johnstone and maybe Kilmarnock. The way the Danish manager was speaking. So I mean,
Schmeichel out for the season. I thought that was
I didn't say, Scott, he was going to be lucky. I thought the Danish manager said he'd be lucky to make the Scotland friend. The Scotland.
September.
is that what he said? Right, sorry,
Yeah,
I thought he said in a couple of weeks.
No, September.
Ah, right, okay. So he's out for the season?
Right.
That's the chat. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, come in and fucking take the jersey. Retire him.
That's it. That, see, to be honest with you, no disrespect to bloody Casper Schmeichel, but that's the dream. That the guy comes in and it's like, do you know what I mean? Cheerio, Casper. I mean, at the end of the day, we're Celtic supporters, so you love players and all that, but they come and go. But the thing is, if the guy comes in, that's your actual dream, that he comes in and he's, there you go.
It's going to be interesting to see what he's like with the ball at his feet, Jason. That's going to be the big deal here, isn't it? You know, Schmeichel's so good.
That's what you brought him in for, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think we saw much of that in the one game he played, did we? He didn't really touch the ball much. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he's about.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing this thing that Schmeichel. I don't know. Right, okay.
I don't know either. I heard one sort of news thing that's what they said, but I've no idea, Scott, to be honest with you.
No, I saw a load of quotes put to him, and the guy says, he's definitely not going to make this weekend, but he's we're talking maybe a couple of weeks. But that was his. That's what the manager says. Do you know what I mean? So like I've got to hear, right. So this is what the manager says. 2 fucking seconds ago. So the quote, the status is that Casper is injured, and right now we are doing the in-depth studies which will provide an indication of whether we're talking about a shorter, medium or long injury. I don't think there is any doubt he will not play this weekend. He's recovered quickly from injuries before. I know he's keen on that in this case too, but he's injured and will be for the foreseeable future. Seems.
When was that, Scott?
Well, this quote, that quote was for the weekend there, but this.
All right.
This is from an article for the day.
All right. Well, that what cancel everything I've said then, because the thing I read was last week.
No, I mean that is I dare say that quote is for last week, but I'm not seeing anywhere else where it suggests he's
right.
But
I'd
I mean,
read
I'm here to
I'd read somewhere he fucking damaged somebody's shoulder.
But the point stands. The new guy's coming in, and the hope is he's a new Buffon, and he comes in and takes a jersey and retires everybody. Do you know what I mean? That's the hope. I'd say Trusty will be back in as well. I think he's out for the season. Is it, Scales? I mean, but Liam says it earlier on. Is Norowski going to be given the opportunity to build on that? Because he done the same with Lagerbielke, and then Lagerbielke come in and scored a goal, and then boom, back away in the reserves, big man. Know what I mean? You've done your job for the day.
I know. See the thing with Lagerbielke, sorry, not with Lagerbielke, but with him as well, but Rocky. But it's what could have been. You think to yourself, you don't really see these guys much, and they come in and obviously we don't see them in training all the time and whatever, but and Navrocky's been bad with injuries, right? So but to me, he looks a good player. He does, but it's just.
But again, it's based on very little in it. I mean, like, to come back to your Raphael Scheidt thing was.
Oh, fuck me. Here, listen. Ask me out the banana. We're on Raphael Scheidt. I am out the fucking door. See, 3 minutes ago, my man went, we're on Raphael Scheidt fucking territory here. And I am sorry. I'm done.
But anyway, to finish my point before the fucking clown shouted it.
Liam, you with me, Liam? You with me?
No, with Raphael Scheidt, you basically say, how can you judge a guy on so little games? And the same point is, how can we be confident in a guy on so little games?
Grab your spade, get your fucking rowboat. I'm out of here. Sorry.
I don't think we're saying that, Scott. I think we're saying give him a chance and let's see what he's got.
No. You're because of that Egypt there. You've kind of just no. Basically, what I'm saying is, I agree with Jason's point. Was Raphael Scheidt never got enough games to judge. Narovski's in the same point in the opposite way. That however well he done in that game, I don't know. I don't think he's looked particularly poor. However, if the manager's no going to give him a sniff, and we've all agreed, Jason, you've used it against us a good few times. Brendan Rodgers knows a wee bit more about football than us. So I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I would rather Dane Murray go to extended, and we've seen because he's useful in a whole bunch of ways for us. Do you know what I mean? If we don't think Narovski's going to cut at Celtic, cut our losses, let's get rid of him. Let's no have him hanging about. Know what I mean? But I don't know. But I'm looking forward to Saturday. I'm looking forward to kind of getting back into it.
Aye.
Get that Huns game out your head. Know what I mean? Joe's away.
Agree. I'm gonna drop as well, boys. So I'll catch up with you on Saturday.
Why don't we just finish the show, mate? Stop being selfish.
Aye, exactly. By the way, I need to add, we've got obviously we're out of Europe, but myself, with obviously a couple of other interests in world football, I'll still be attending European games between now and the end of the season. Hopefully more than one, and I reckon I could be actually at 3 games in order for Athletic Club to win the Europa League. Could be at Ibrox. Well, I will be at Ibrox. I could be at Old Trafford if Man United beat Lyon.
Oh yeah.
I could be in San Mamés for the final. That's no bad, eh? So
Incredible, man. That'd be incredible.
see when you look at the goalies as well, Scott, right? See with Sanasola, right? See Athletic Club, like obviously Unai Simon is their main goalie. But see in the Copa del Rey games, and they played him in the final last year when they won it. Agarazabella, or whatever, how you pronounce his surname. They played him in every game, and they played him in the final. When they beat Mallorca in the final, and Celtic
There's Jason there. There's Jason looking for the big game with his deer stalker on that.
What's that? I'm not looking at it. What you doing?
Hunting, big game hunting, isn't he?
Aye. But see, like the way Athletic Club do it. Do you know? I think like Celtic should have done that with Sanasola. But
yeah,
like every
I'm surprised he's not played more.
Exactly.
I'm really surprised he's not played more.
One of the games we played, I can't remember who it was. I think I was in Lisbon at the time. Was it Falkirk we played in the cup early on a Sunday? I think he was going to play that one, but he was injured because Bain was on the bench for that.
That's right, Bain was on the bench.
Yeah, so I think he'd have played that. But I agree with your point.
I don't know. I mean, see, be honest, right? We're at a stage. I know we all want to win the treble, but we're at the stage the League Cup should get back to playing the boys.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, it should the whole way through the way Arsene Wenger used to do it. And even if you get to a final, don't drop them all. Play the same guys.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like Narovsky, McCowan, they should all have been playing regular in the League Cup.
Yeah,
and the thing is, because the thing is, we're moaning about all our guys being knackered and playing hundreds of games. Well, that's a good way of fucking using it, because the League Cup's half of your first half of the season, isn't it? But anyway, on to Saturday. Come on to Celtic.
Oh, big thing.
Right, we're calling it.
We're calling it.
Gentlemen, been excellent. Thank you very much. Everybody stuck in a few comments. Thanks for that. Liam, keep smiling. And hope your team wins at the weekend, boys.
You too, pal. Take it easy, boys.
God bless you.
Bye. Bye.